Hi, my name is Simone and I'm the founder of The Artist 11. What this video is basically is providing tools for empowerment for artists that maybe, because they are artists, they didn't have time to think about these things. Basically what I'm going to be doing is giving you 20% of the work, which will give you 80% of the results. So we're going to kind of figure out what an artist statement is, what are the core elements of an artist statement. So that's a cheat sheet. So I've got questions that you can ask yourself, which it's always about the questions you ask. The quality of your question will determine the quality of your answers. And if you use these questions, then you can use ChatGPT to figure out what your artist statement is, as long as you're very personal and honest and specific with your answers. So let's begin. Okay, amazing. Let's decode what an artist statement is. So basically its purpose, having sold art for many years, I reversed the steps. I thought of the tools that I use when selling art, and I have kind of broken that down, and it's helped me to develop these questions. So the purpose of an artist statement is to help you to find sales material, basically. So it's a sales tool that you're going to use to sell your art. One of the sales steps is, when you get an objection, sometimes people need to understand your art more. So then you would use this information to say things like, I have, this is the reason I'm creating the art. This is just to keep making sure that they have all the information, because sometimes they just don't understand it, and this is to help them understand your art.
Purpose. One of the purposes of an artist statement is a sales tool. When someone says, I don't understand art or your art, you will then use the information you gathered in the artist statement to help them understand.
Which goes to its function. So its function is to take your place in the room when you're not there. It's going to explain your art when you're not around.
What is the function of an artist statement? To sell or explain what your art means when you're not around.
Art should have a purpose as well. I truly believe that, because if you don't have a purpose, then why are you creating art? So it's really something to think about. And that's it. So next we'll move on to what you can do with your artist statement. So I guess the question is like, what would you use an artist statement for? And there's a lot of things you can do it for, and it's super exciting, and that's kind of what my main focus is. So you can use this for artists, for competitions, and what's really great about competitions is if you place in it, so if you come third, second or first, it's an accolade, it's something that you can mention. It's one of those benefits that I was speaking about, the watch. It's something that you can use for if you find this gallery and you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, and you're gonna dare to dream, and you're like, I would love to exhibit here. And then you would use your artist statement. That way they'll take you more seriously, and it'll be able to help you narrow down a specific work of artworks that can kind of have themes. That it's just such a benefit. Lastly, it's going to help us to create content for your LinkedIn profile, and also to have an artist statement on your LinkedIn profile. So 2 wins there. And yeah, that's basically it.
How do we use our artist statement? As mentioned before, to sell your art, to enter competitions, to be featured or exhibit with other galleries, to create content for LinkedIn with ChatGPT, and to post your artist statement on LinkedIn.
So I've kind of quantified this by using my sales knowledge and working backwards to create these questions. So I'm going to read through some of these questions. And so basically it says, what inspired you to start creating art? So it's funny because we don't realize that artists are pioneers. And I mentioned, well, I really believe that an artist should have a purpose. And when you have that purpose, you kind of begin to realize that you're an ideation expert. You take nothing and create something from it. And there has to be a reason to do that, because that is an exceptional skill that you have. So it's what themes does your art follow? This will help you to narrow down and possibly inspire you to create art, give you ideas. If your theme is seascapes, then you can create different versions of seascapes. If, for example, you don't want to create art that's too different. If you create an artwork that's just seascapes, and then you go and create a Renaissance classic, doesn't matter, doing a different style, I'm not going to buy this because I don't like this. I love this. This is my own, like, from my family. It's it. I love this. I'm just saying, for example, I love this. Both of them. But you want to keep to the same theme, because if people like this, then they're more likely to buy the same style of your art. So maybe you'll have more than one, maybe you won't, but it's important to write as many down as possible to kind of be able to narrow it down to one or two, maybe even three. What mediums do you use? This question is important because you want to break down what it is, because the average person didn't study art. They don't have a master's in arts and art history, so they don't know what a palette knife. Because this one was painted with a palette knife, so they don't know what a palette knife is. Most people don't. So if you explain to them and the pastel technique, which takes describe the technique. You don't have to use a palette knife. You can use one artist in Stellenbosch. She uses a credit card, and it's obviously the impasto technique, but it's with a credit card, and it's incredible, and that's her unique style. Do you use any special techniques? So I've sold art by people who take a blowtorch, they put chemicals, and they take a blowtorch to it, and then they set it on fire. There's an artist who uses gold leafing, and it was his sign painting that, allowed him the ability to do that. So if there's something that you do that's a little bit outside of the ordinary that seems normal for you, it's not. It's something worth mentioning. And now we'll look at accolades. So accolades are one of the easier ways to create credibility for you and your art. So this would be, where did you study? Have you placed in any competition? Have you exhibited with anyone? And so those kind of will build up the credibility portion of your art. How do you feel when you create art? Tell us about yourself. It's a cover letter, and you're kind of the product, you're the brand. So people want to know about you. So with the art house, for example, the Artist 11, you would want to hear this company, I developed this company, last year, and I always had a passion for art. And I thought to myself, why don't I bridge the gap between my skills of having a sales experience in art, selling art, but also a marketing degree, and connect and myself personally curate art. It's called the Artist 11 because I only choose 11 that will be featured as the Artist 11. It's exciting. I've made it something that I enjoy, and that's a little bit about my company. So what about you? Tell me a little bit about yourself. So that's about it for this portion. I have some tips just in general about the artist statement. So you don't have to use big words. It's not important to have eloquent speech, but descriptive words are your friend. Try to keep it simple. Check your grammar. And the more you personalize it, so the more personal you get, the more uniqueness you're going to get. So the more you are yourself, the more people will realize that you're unique, because we are all unique snowflakes. As much as people try to say that's a bad thing, if you're creating art, it's your personal self that's going to sell it. If they know your story, they're going to be able to connect with you. But that's it. Thank you. Bye.